Basically, as I said earlier also, there are three aspects of Ashtrapati's work. The first work is essentially establishing the divine presence in all the worlds, and therefore he goes from place to place, subtle matter, the life worlds, mind worlds, then spiritual worlds. He travels through the entire hierarchy of worlds, and in all these places, as the divine incarnate, he leaves his presence behind. In fact, that is the occult adhara which he establishes. Otherwise, the purpose of his traveling is in a certain sense meaningless. And the entire description is to leave the divine presence in all the places there. So it is that divine presence in all the places which becomes a supporting ground for the work of Savitri, who will come later on. Without that adhara, without that support, she cannot do anything. So that is one thing. He has established the adhara in all the cosmic planes for the divine work. The second thing which Ashwapati does is he has created a new world, but that new world in the spirit, in the transcendent, up there. A new divine world he has created up there in the transcendent. Now, the purpose of the creation is that it is that we should become the prototype, the archetypal creation world, which will precipitate, which will come down, which will manifest upon earth. So, unless it is there, nothing will happen here. So, therefore, he has created that world. Now, after having done these two things, the next important step is how to bring down that new world here. And he sees that that is possible only if the Divine Shakti herself takes a mortal birth, comes here personally, takes the mortal birth, and does that kind of a work. Now, it is for that purpose now he is approaching the Divine Mother, the creative consciousness force, that she must send her own power upon earth and carry out this mission of bringing down that new creation upon the earth. So, it is therefore he is approaching the Divine Mother and she is responding to him that, look, I know what you have come here, the purpose of your approaching me and all that, but you seem to be in a hurry. Don't make haste. The evolving time will take care of all these things. Yes, there will be a divine manifestation. Why you are worried about that thing? It will happen and all that sort of a thing. And then she assures him, and in fact, she gives the boon also to him. She says, she tells him, she gives a great advice. Uh, 89.66. In fact, you can take the earlier two sentences also. My life shall be in thee. She's assuring you, you carry on the work here, and my life shall be in thee. My strength, thy force. Let not the impatient Titan drive thy heart. You are in a hurry, don't be impatient about it. You see. Ask not the imperfect fruit, the partial prize. Only one boon. To greaten thy spirit, demand. So the first, she says, to greaten thy spirit, demand. Only one joy, to raise thy kind, desire. People who are of your nature, of your kind, to raise them up, you ask that boon, I will give that boon. Only one boon, to greaten thy spirit, demand. Only one joy, to raise thy kind desire. So she is very specific about it. About the blind fate and the antagonist powers, Mole stands a high unchanging will. Don't worry about the difficulties here, about antagonism of death and ignorance and all that. Don't worry about that thing because behind them there is the unchanging will. My own will is there. To its omnipotence, live thy worst result. So she is kind of dismissing him. See, all things shall change in God's transfiguring hour. So that is the assurance she gives. You carry on my work, take this boon to greaten thy spirit, so that by things, other things also will get elevated. Unchanging will. To his omnipotence, live thy worst result. Now, in response to that, Ashwapati says, he says very clearly, how long shall I rest content with mortal days? See, I have been seeing this thing through centuries and centuries, ages and ages, yuga, all those things, years and years. How long this mortal ignominy, this death, this suffering, you see, thy glory and beauty of thy rays. Then he says, hard is the doom to which thou binds thy sons. And then later on he says, too little the strength that now with us is born. What can the strength do? It is impossible to deal with the titanic forces, the Asuric forces which are there, with the strength which we have got with us. Too little the strength that now with us is born, too faint the light that steals through nature's lids, too scant the joy with which she buys our pain. And then he makes a very wonderful revelation here later on, 90.24. A power arose out of my slumber's cell. Even his physical, a power arose out of a slumber cell. Abandoning the tardy limb for the hours. This is what we have been telling about the tardy limb of the hour. Abandoning the tardy limb for the hour. And the inconstant blink of mortal sight. There where the thinker sleeps in too much light. And intolerant flame, the lone, all-witnessing eye. In the endless moment of eternity, he saw the timeless, the works of time. That power arose, and it is what it. And then he says, a giant dance of Shiva to the past. What was coming in the way of this creation, of this manifestation, that Shiva's dance had destroyed that thing. A giant dance of Shiva to the past. There was a thunder of world that fall. Earth was overrun with fire and a roar of death. The Titan's battle cry was in my ear. Alarm and rumor shook the armored night. So this is really the fiery picture he's putting. And then what does he say here? I saw the omnipotence flaming pioneers over the heavenly worlds which turn towards life, come crowding down the amber stairs of birth, forerunners of a divine multitude. Out of the past, the morning star, they came into the little room of mortal life. So he is already seeing these people from above. They are coming down, the flame pioneers already. And then there is a whole description of these flame pioneers, architects, laborers, messengers, all kind of things which are doing, which will come here and do things here. Same. But basically, what he says here is, I saw the omnipotence flaming pioneer. This is the vision Ashwapati has. Over the heavenly worlds, they are ready to come down here. And why they are ready to come here? Because Shiva has torn the past. Because Shiva has torn the past, therefore they are now rushing towards the coming here. Now these are the flame pioneers. What are these flaming pioneers? What are these flaming pioneers? These are the beings of the new creation which Ashwapati has established in the transcendent. They are there, they are waiting, they want to come down here, but they are unable to come here. And It is in that context then he says to the Divine Mother, in fact, he gives the entire description of those flame pioneers. Heavy, unchanged, 35. Heavy, unchanged, weigh still the imperfect world. The splendid youth of time has passed and failed. Heavy and long are the years our labor counts, and still the seals are firm upon man's soul, and weary is the ancient mother's heart. Ancient mother, the mother earth, nature, who is working here through eons and eons and all that thing. She has become concerned about the whole matter, you see, that things are not happening. Now, uh, essentially, there is one important point which we have to recognize also here, namely, see, the Divine Mother is telling to Ashwapati, look here, things will be taken care of. All that you should do is ask something by which your spirit is guided, by which the spirit of others is guided. That is enough. But Ashwapati says, no, sorry, I am not going to listen to your advice. This is not a very useful advice for me at all, you see. Now, the question is, here Ashwapati has a courage to deny what is being offered to him. The divine himself is there and is saying, take this in. He says, no, I'm sorry, I don't want that. It needs some kind of a stuff in the person, you see, to say no, even at that point, you see. And in contrast to that, he says, look, this is what you are giving. I don't want that. I want this. He's demanding now. So, at that point, was Ashwapati doing the right thing? You see, we had an opinion, my God, please, whatever you give me, I'm happy, I will accept that thing, you see, and you don't have to worry about that thing. But Ashwapati has his own firm free will. He has a capacity to decide what he wants, what he should have. It is not by somebody else, things are going to be decided for him. I want this. He has a free will of his own, and his free will is of a different type than the free will of the divine himself. The divine has a free will. You take this. Spontaneously is being offered, and he is exercising his own free will. I don't want that, I want this. See? Yes.
What I find intriguing is that Divine Mother is telling him that if it came now, it would be too early.
Yeah, but he says he doesn't say it. He knows that it's too early. Things will be trampled, things will be destroyed. It will be a disastrous path. Also, you are impatient. She's telling all that thing. In spite of that, he is exercising his free will. He is exercising his free will. That is most important. Now, does it mean that there is a kind of a clash between the free will of the Divine Mother and the free will of Ashwapati? It may apparently look like that she is saying something and this man is saying something else. Is there a conflict? Is there some kind of a contradiction between the two? That is the question which one could perhaps ask. But I will say that that is also not a contradiction. That is also not a contradiction. Because when one is absolutely free, then that freedom allows different possibilities in truth to express. Truth can express like this, can express like this, can express like this, can express like this. All those are possibilities of truth in different manner. And the possibility, one possibility is not in contradistinction with another possibility. There is no conflict between one possibility of truth against another possibility of truth. So that way, there is no real contradiction in the sense between the free will of Ashwapati and the advice which is being given to him, you see. Because in the truth dynamism, every play is a truth play and it has its own truth value. So whether I should follow this or I should follow that, That contradiction does not arise there as it arises in our mental scheme of things, you see. So when Ashwapati is asserting that, he is really exercising the full free will because of his identification with the truth itself. That is the greatness of Ashwapati's yoga, you see. And he says, sorry, I don't want that, you please do this. That is one way of looking at it. The other way, if you want to be a little emotional and all that kind of a thing, you can say, look, he is meeting the Divine Mother. He is meeting his own mother. The child will always say, Mother, no, I don't want this, I want this dish, I want that dish. And she will oblige, you see. I don't like this dish, I want this dish particularly. And she will oblige, you see. One could say even that. But basically, from the spiritual angle, it is the possibility of free wills in the truth dynamism. And it is all permitted, you see. Therefore, he says, he asks um, the Divine Mother, he prays to her, O truth defended in thy secret sun. You are up there, you are defended there. Nobody can go and attack you there. You see. Voice of her mighty musings in shut heavens. Yes, you are speaking there, but heavens are shut from here. You can't hear. On things withdrawn within her luminous depths. O wisdom splendor. He is addressing her by different names. Yeah, we have got, our in our Chandi Mahatmya, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Mata Rupena Samsita, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupen. She is addressing as Mother, as Shakti, as Shanti, by various names. So in that manner, Ashwapati, this is something like a Chandi Stotra, you see, in that sense, you see. You know. O truth defended in thy secret sun, voice of her mighty musings instructive, on things withdrawn within her luminous depth. O wisdom splendor, mother of the universe, creatrix, the eternals, artist bride, linger not long with thy transmuting hand. Don't stay too long behind those shut heavens. Press only vainly on one golden bar of time, as if time dare not open its heart to God. Time has to open its heart to God. Then only things can happen here. Then he says, O radiant fountain of the world's delight. Yes, the delight of the world comes from that source. She is the source of all delight here, of all happiness here. World free and unattainable above. O bliss, whoever dwells deep hid within, while men seek thee outside and never find. Mystery and muse with heretic tongue, incarnate white passion of thy foes, mission toward some living form of thee. So that is the kind of a compulsion he is making to her. Please send some form of you upon the earth. Mystery and muse with heretic tongue, incarnate, take birth, human birth, the white passion of the fool, mission toward some living form of the one moment filled with thy eternity. So let earthly moment itself be flooded with your eternity. Let thy infinity in one body live. All knowledge wrap one mind in seas of light, all love throbs single in one human heart. Immortal, treading the earth with mortal feet, all heaven's beauty crowd in earthly length. Omnipotence, girdled with the power of God, movements and moments of a mortal will, pack with eternal might one human hour, and with one gesture change all future time. It is the future, new future will come just by your gesture. See. Let a great word be spoken from the heights, and one great act unlock the doors of fate. Now, of course, it is fate which is preventing things to happen. Let that be opened out, and you come here. Now, in other words, he is definitely compelling her mortal birth. Ashwapati is compelling her mortal birth. That is exactly what we have got. A worse desire compelled her mortal birth, with which the yoga of Ashwapati begins here. He is compelling her mortal birth. Ashwapati was carrying the desire of the world to the Supreme Mother, and he's saying, please, 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 you must come here and take birth here. Then only the doors of fate can be opened out. Not until then, it seems.